Our show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Oh, the lie travel fast now before the truth. The truth travels slow. And you say this been like a 4 or 5 month process. So you gotta think about it. For 4 or 5 months, I had to listen to people slander my name. When I know I ain't did nothing wrong. Slandering these kids. You putting my quarterback and my running back on post talking about they was 20 years old. And that cool, this wasn't even about them. So again, like a lot of that stuff wasn't fair to the kids. Like at the end of the day, bro, if you got any type of heart, man, you can't take nothing away from these kids. They earned that on the field, and they ain't have to cheat to do it. The lie travel fast now before the truth. The truth travels slow. And you said this.
Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a good show for you all tonight. We're going to be joined later on by the new head coach of the UNO Privateers men's basketball team, Coach Stacy Hollowell. But before we get to our first guest, I got to introduce my co-host, the one, the only, VK Jones. What's going on, VK?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Like, tag, share, and subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, and on your Twitter. And also log on to the hashitoutshow.com. We got a lot to talk about. Like we mentioned last week, a very, very hot story and a big time guest to talk about that. But at the same time, we got UNO basketball. We got a lot of things we're even going to talk about NBA playoffs tonight. So we're looking forward to it.
Also, I got to introduce my other co-host, the one, the only, George Peppers. What's up, George Peppers? George Peppers, can you hear me? We'll get George Peppers back in here in a little bit. But moving on, our guest for today, joining us once again, he is the head coach of the Opelousas Tigers, and they are the 2023 Division II non-select state champions. Been a lot of trial and tribulations with this process, but the trophy is staying in Opelousas. Joining us, like I said, the head coach, Coach Jimmy Zachery. Coach Zachery, thank you for joining us. How you doing? Coach Zachery will come right back because he just texted me saying he lost connection. Oh man, we having all type of stuff, but let's see if we get George Peppers in here. George Peppers, do you hear me?
I can hear y'all fine. I was hearing y'all before just fine too. The mute thing on this thing wasn't working right, so but I can hear y'all both just fine. How y'all doing tonight?
We are doing
We're
good. We're
good.
doing
We're
good.
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 I
Good.
hear you, V. And I know VK's got a heck of a road trip coming up tomorrow. We wish you safe travels, dude. Before we forget, we wish you safe travels. And I told you the poetic justice I'd like to see in this South Regional for you this week. That'd be the two Louisiana teams making to the final. And yeah, I've got a big show tonight. We got incredible guests. One that was an add-on, but a heck of a good add-on because we get to talk to one of the more underrated coaches that coached in the state of Louisiana and had on vital success here. So this is going to be a great night as always. So just sit back, get your favorite beverage, uh, Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Oh man,
Oh man.
George, get your thing fixed. We're trying to get Coach Zachery in here. He's having he's having trouble. George Peppers, I need you to get rid of that GP in the middle some type of way. And
Yep, that's the thing. I don't know how.
we're trying to get Coach Zachery back up in here, up and running. So once we get Coach Zachery, we'll get to rocking and rolling. But let's talk about the issue that happened. As soon as Opelousas won pretty much the state championship, within a couple of weeks, they were stripped from the LHSAA and was said to have an illegal player. Um, Man, to me, that was very crushing to that community of Opelousas because it was a feel good story. Your thoughts, VK?
It was very, very crushing, and I mean, I guess it's just been the year of straight up shut down witch hunts, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Because a whole bunch of programs got in trouble, shut down, all kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, Opelousas, who really worked their tails off to get to the point that they are, and for them to get to their first state championship game in school history, and then for them to win it, and it was really, really huge for that community, for their school, for everything in that town. And it was a great ball game that we seen. It was a great, great ball game. See, tried to come back, but at the same time, man, Opelousas made huge plays offensively and defensively to put it away. But it's great that the powers that be, came through and made sure that Opelousas is still the reigning state champs.
Coach Zachary, are you there? Coach Zachary? All right. We're going to have to do something different. I'm going to make sure what we're going to do.
Just
Hey,
like we
Coach.
did last time.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna do what we do last time. Put them on a speaker, and
yeah.
we're gonna make it do what it do here tonight. That's what we do on the Hash It Out show. By
That's
hook
it.
or by crook, we're gonna get it done. Or
I
excuse me.
called it. Hands
Well,
up. But no CEO.
well,
But I think he muted himself by accident.
We all doing well, Coach. We all doing well. We all doing well. So let's get it started, Coach. Coach, when the LHSAA made that ruling to strip y'all of the title after this such feel good story of you guys winning the state championship and how the community was out with you all and winning that for Opelousas, the first title ever in school history. What was the feeling like when you got the news of that was happening from the LHSAA?
Oh man, it was a gut punch, man. You work hard to get where you to the promise, man. The goal, set out players, to win it all and to win it all and to work as hard as they can and as we work, man. And the news is like, man, they just like it took the story, man. It took the life out of it, man. It was dope. It was wild.
During that whole process, how did the community have you all's back?
Oh, of course, 100%. Again, of course, you got the naysayers out there that were saying, everything, and how people, speak and don't really know the truth, and then now when the truth come out, that now they looking crazy. But for the most part, the real supporters and the community, they had our back 100%, man. You everywhere you went, I was getting back, coach, we praying for you and the team. We all gonna pull through it, keep your head up. So the community was real supportive, man. I can't say, man, shout out to because we stood up once again, bro, and they stood behind us, man. They didn't, waver, man. They had our back 100%, and man, it feel good to come out of it, bro, on top.
Most definitely, Coach. I have family in Opelousas, and I talked to a cousin of mine, and they were just in disbelief at what happened. So she was telling me how the community had you guys back and was backing you 100%. My next question to you, coach, is this: the title stays in Opelousas, but why are you on probation? Because the way I look at it, the title stays, so it means no wrongdoing was done. But why are you on probation? That's what I don't understand.
I think it was just a part of the deal they made, man. And I'm cool with it, bro. Because again, we have some violations, man, but it's nothing dealing with that. But some things, and I mean, I'd rather do that, and I'd rather be on probation than having the title strip. You know what I mean? So if that's what it takes for me to take that L and be on probation and we get the title back and everything like that, I'll take that. And again, man, we're not perfect. We do make mistakes, but at the same time, we don't make those type of mistakes to get stripped.
Understand that, coach. And with you taking that deal to be on probation, you're showing that this is more for the kids.
Correct.
Correct. My next question is: once you won the ruling that you guys are the state champions, what was the feeling like then? Because I mean, a lot of pressure had to come off your back at that point.
Man, bro, you talking about a lot of this is probably for December, maybe like a 4 or 5 month process. From being told that it was being stripped and everything, from us going to the appeal, then to taking it to the next step. Shout out Pride Duran and Cawthorn, man. The law firm that represented me in this case, man. The guy, he never wavered, man. He told me from the get go we had a strong case and we went out there and we won it. But man, the feeling when he came back, man, Pride kind of hit like a LeBron move. He bump his chest and then, push it down. You know what I'm saying? When he came out the back and did that, I said, "Oh, we're in the money now, baby." So, man, it was everybody in the courtroom erupted, man. And all the supporters that was in the courtroom, it erupted, man. Everybody went crazy, man. And me and the coaches, we hugged each other, man. And I feel like I won it all over again, bro.
I know that's right, coach. Before I pass it on to VK Jones, during this whole process, what is it that you have learned about yourself the most?
Oh, I learned. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I learned that to really about myself. I'm stronger than I thought I was, because it was like I say, I wasn't sleeping, bro, and I never dealt with my name in a negative manner in the news and all over social media. People slander. Man, y'all saw what everything that been saying about us, about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I pride myself on not cheating, bro. Like I try to follow everything to the letter, man. Again, I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? But we try not to make them type of mistakes, man. And shout out to the LTC, bro, for really, bro, because again, it could have went the other way, man. I thank Eddie Nine and for overturning it and giving us back our championship, man. For them having a heart for the kids, bro. But man, through that process, I learned I'm stronger than I thought I was, man. Like, because again, you see your stuff in the news, and you ain't did nothing wrong, man. You start thinking about everybody that wrong you. You wanna, wanna do some things to them, but you kept your head and stay grounded, man. And man, I'm really blessed and highly favored, man, by God, man. Because at the end of the day, he kept my head in the game, man. Because I could have went left a few times.
Most definitely. VK.
Coach Jimmy Zachery, man, man, it's good to have you on the show, man, and I appreciate you being on and everything else. And I know it's been some hard work, not just on the field but off the field. But it's good to have you.
Man, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate y'all bringing me on, man.
Absolutely. First question, Coach. With all that you've been through and everything else, and you making that ultimate sacrifice to take a season off on probation and everything else, is this a lesson that you teach your kids more than anything else, besides football, hard work, and everything, but teaching them now about sacrifice?
Well, number one, the fight was bigger than us, man. Bigger than me as a coach, and that I had a few players, man. Let me clear. See, probation, I still can coach.
Yeah.
It's just I can't get another violation. Now they may suspend me if I do. But and like I told a few of my guys, man, Corey Amer, Landon Hammond, the Song Fours of the world. And honestly, bro, I got some good kids, man, because through this whole process, they was kind of uplifted because they saw like it was taking a toll on me. Like I was really getting mad and frustrated. And they came, man, all three of them came in here, man, and they told me, man, cool, look, bro. We won it on the field. Let them have it. If we gonna go win it again. But like I told them, bro, this fight bigger than that, man. It's not about letting them have anything
Right.
because we earned this, and you got to stand up for what you believe in, brother. Like sometimes in life, you might be done wrong, and you might feel like it's an injustice. Again, man, you got to fight to the end, bro. If you know you ain't did nothing wrong, you believe in what you saying, bro, fight to the end, bro. And I'm just glad we came out on top and got reinstated, man. Because again, this fight is bigger than us. This for the kids that's looking up to us and trying to find a way. You gotta somebody gotta stand and fight, bro. You know.
And coach, you're one of two programs that had to overturn a ruling, and that was really huge because it's two historical moments. Like you look at your program winning a first state championship, but not just that, Isidore Newman had to overcome a ruling too from denying them a three-peat, and they went and got that overturned for them to compete to win straight state championships. What you can say about that? How yourself and Newman, how to overcome everything, but not just that, that that you put everything in the hands of God and put everything in the hands of who we had to put into to try to get this done.
Well, man, and that's another thing, man. That we kind of reached out to them, and see what steps they took, man. Shout out to Coach Livingston, man. And then shout out to all my coaching friends, man, in the coaching world, man, because this is fraternity, man. The ones that actually reached out to me, man, was keeping me level headed, saying they was praying for me, man, saying oh, we hope we get it overturned, man. Your kids, all that, man, mattered, man, in that tough time because again. It ain't who's with you when the sun's shining. Now. I need to know who with me in the dark time, and
Mm.
and for those guys that step up, getting these texts and getting these calls and But again, man, to get that overturned, man, it was big, man. Like I said, I felt like we won it all over again. But man, I got to give all of to my administration, man, Mr. Baptiste, Coach Rob, man, the assistant superintendent and superintendent, my principal, Mr. Campbell. Oh man, they had my back the whole way, bro. They stayed in the fight with me, man. Prior to ran and caught on again, man. Because again, once you pray about it, put in God's hand, man, you really, if you exercising your faith, bro, you gotta exercise your faith and not worry about it, and that's hard to do, man. But bro, like I said, bro, once we did that and prior to me, they had a plan and bro, they went in there in the courtroom, bro. They executed the game plan, man, and we came out on top, man. So again, bro, I can't say enough about that because it's easy to go into a fight and stay fighting when you got your administration behind you, man. You got the proper lawyers. Shout out Courtney Joyner, that's our school board lawyer. He was a big part of it too, man. It's good to have a great team, bro. And I felt like we was together through the whole process, man. And that's not only a win for the community, it's a win for the school district because again, our superintendent, this is his first year superintendent, so this is a big win for him getting that overturned, man. So he ain't have to have my back. He could say, hey man, we ain't fighting that, y'all did wrong, and don't appeal it woo to woo. He could have did that, but he didn't, man. He stood right there in the foxhole with me, bro. We fought it, and man, we came out on top. So it really felt good, bro.
While I have you here and everything, let's go away from the negative stuff. Let's talk about the positive stuff here. Um, the Superdome when Opelousas won that state championship, the experience itself. What was your thoughts on the experience that you had in the Superdome first time with your team, but not the whole experience, but especially when you guys seen those 3-0s up there had being state champs.
Man, this is I've been as an assistant when I was in Union, bro. I won it in 13, man. But it hit a totally different when you the A guy. For you to set the vision and set the tone before you even start the season, and for us to break it down onto the dome, and actually have the Superdome pictures all over the weight room, and to actually make it, bro, that's priceless, bro. Like to actually see those kids walk in that dome that game day, man, that morning we walked in that door to see these kids' face light up, to see the kids just start falling, the tears start falling out the eyes, man. The excitement in them kids, man, bro. The excitement in my coaches, bro. Bro, it was a journey to get there. And when I say it was a journey, it was a journey, man. And just to see all that, man, bro, the kids, man, that's priceless. That's stuff that's gonna last a lifetime, bro. And that's the stuff we talk about with those kids, man. When y'all come back to homecoming, man, these are the type of stories y'all gonna tell. How y'all felt when y'all walked out there on that dome, man, on that turf, man, when you under them lights, man. How you felt when you made your first play, So, man, it was just, man. I can't say enough about that, man. I tell you like that. I feel like Pookie. I'm ready to get back though.
Man, I tell you, it was unbelievable that night, that day we watched that game. It was a great ball game. I think it was a lot of lessons you learned, Coach, and you made a lot of great adjustments, and that was huge in that ball game, getting that win. I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna give it over to George Peppers. Spring football is coming up, and everything else. What you could say going forward with a lot of good players coming back, especially in spring football coming up.
But we in spring, we in day 4, man. We got rained out all last week. The excitement is there, but we still, when you're back in spring, you gotta retrain and reset. Just get back to the basics, man. We ain't trying to move too fast. We're just trying to learn, learn the bit. We got some new guys stepping in on the O line, man. So we're a little rough right now, but that's expected. So we just gotta stay the course, man. The defense is a little ahead because they got more returning. But at the end of the day, bro, it's gonna come together, man, and we ready to make another run at this thing, man. I'm just excited about the season. The kids are excited. They're ready to get back. And we ready to see what's gonna happen.
We're looking
I
forward to
want to say
seeing
this
what.
right quick,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Coach, before we get George Peppers in here. I saw the schedule, Coach. Man, like Edna Carr, I think Turlings. I want to say Alexandria.
Yeah, we start out with we open up with Turlins. Week 2 we got Edna Call. Week 3 we got Lake Charles College Prep. 4 we got Ash. Week 5 we got Zachery. Then we start district.
And that is a tough schedule, but I know the defending state champs are up to the task, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. That's why, man. I cut my teeth like that, man. I learned under a lot of good coaches, man. Spatafora, Darnell Lee, man.
Yeah,
And they schedule tough. That's what we do, man. We're gonna schedule tough because I'd rather see what we had early than late.
most
So
definitely.
whether we take them bumps and bruises is not district. It's a win-win. You lose, you're losing against a formidable opponent that's gonna win a lot of games. So you're gonna get the points. And then you'll be ready by the time district hit, man. But we're not going in the game to lose, though. I'm gonna just tell you that now.
And I know that's right, Coach. All right, George Peppers, what you got?
Cool, Zachary. Good evening. First off, thank you for taking the time for joining us here. And hey, look, it's our first conversation with you since you won the state title. And I got to say about that performance for me, and Jared and I were on the call in that game, doing that game for CrescentCitySports.com along with my brother and this mother freak.
Go ahead,
Can
George.
y'all hear me?
Go ahead, George. You good?
Okay. All right, my bad. I almost said it, my bad. But I want to say that was to me one of the more eye-opening performances of the weekend of the 8 title games that were there. The fact that you guys were able to slow down that machine that was Cecilia, who steamrolled teams coming in, scoring a bat ton of points, and your defense really stood the test of time in that game and really got into the moment. I know VK mentioned it to you about it, but when you looked at them on film in advance of the game, when you looked at them, you had played them once in the regular, excuse me, in the regular season. What was it about this game that felt different about the regular season game? What was it about this game that you felt like, you know what, even on the carpet, I think my guys can take it? What was it about this
I
game
think
that you thought that
I think getting back to this game, we're getting back to getting our revenge because they did beat us in the regular season,
they
uh,
did?
championship at their place. But we had a lot of miscues that game, man, and there's no excuse because again they capitalized on our mistakes. We had 6 fumbles in the second half. They capitalized on our mistakes and they beat us, man. You can't do that against good teams. Uh, and but we knew, but I would say the beauty of that game in the regular season, we wasn't a team. And after Cecilia, they beat us. I think we became a team after that, and because again, if you're trying to be a championship defense, it don't make it don't. I don't care what the offense do. The offense turn the ball over. A good defense gonna get it back.
Yeah.
You got to hold. So again, we had a lot of that in the playoffs. We had a lot of turnovers by our offense, and the defense stood the test, and they held up and got the ball back. And I thought that was the difference. We was a team. We had faced we had came through the gauntlet side of the bracket, and I knew whoever came off that side, whether it's North Dakota or us, was gonna win it all.
Yeah, I thought that too. When y'all came through the bracket, we talked about it, Jared and I, during the game. We talked about the fact that you guys went through what I say a minefield more than, I mean, gauntlet, whatever phrase you want to use. But it felt like you really had to get it every week, and it's the playoffs, and only the best survive, right? Um,
Right.
but was that the best offense you played all year long in Cecilia with the talent and the speed that they had? Do you feel like that's the best offense you played all season long?
I think the best offense I played was honestly, I'm gonna say North Dakota.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say all year long, like
forgot about those kids.
with North Dakota, the pace is we couldn't even match that in practice. When we played North Dakota, I had two sets of scout team officers going back to back, and that still
True.
helped us now. But we couldn't make cool. That pace North Dakota play with, man, is crazy, and it's so efficient. I
Hmm.
thought that was the best. Now, for us, still got athletes, but I'm talking about an offense structured, like systematic, moving the ball, knowing where they go with the ball, good receivers that run great routes. Man, I think North Dakota was the best. North Dakota's averaging about 50 points in the playoffs a game.
Hmm.
So and I think we held them to 20. But see, like I said, it's still you got a lot of explosive players. But as far as best offense, I gotta give it to North Dakota.
I don't blame you, considering that's the Dennis Dunn coach team. It was, I think, a sophomore quarterback there, and I think if I remember right, I
Correct.
believe it was a sophomore quarterback that led them. And for you guys to stand tall in that spot, I kind of thought to myself, after y'all beat Lutcher too, because Lutcher was in that bracket. I think y'all took them down in the quarterfinals on the way, and that defense was every bit as, and not to demean what you guys did, but that defense was on that elite level as well. That's a defense that was really good, and for you guys to out defend them, I thought was another eye opener. Didn't surprise me at all, but the fact that you won the state title, it's the first state varsity championship in the history of Opelousas High. That significance. Did you feel any added extra pressure going into that game about that potential accomplishment, that you would be the very first varsity sport to take down a title?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this honestly. I never thought that'd happen until I took the job. Like when I was playing, I never thought I never thought I'd be accomplish as much as I accomplished in this position, man. And again, bro, thank God, bro, for blessing me with this talented coach and blessing me with these players, man, and these coaches, man. Because I can't do it by myself. But honestly, bro, it just really after everything happened with the case and everything, it really just started to settle in. Like man, you know, hey, we really wanted, you really was the first coach to bring, all that started to settle in. But a good coach told me you don't read your clippers, you get ready for the next game because that's
Yep.
last year. So we gotta, we don't want to dwell on it. Again, I'm happy we won it, and but again, we're in a new year, and everybody's coming for your neck now. You the champs.
So how do you approach this season? I know the situation and everything else. Now you're the hunted, whereas the last few years you were the hunter. What's the preparation aspect like? I know, and look, I know coach speak is going to be like, the coach speak we're going to hear is we do what we do in practice, and whatever happens happens and whatnot. But now that you're in a different role, it's the first time Opelousas is champion, and everybody's coming for you. You got some heavyweights on that schedule. What's the preparation aspect going to be as we advance into 2024 and put 2023 in the rearview mirror?
I think honestly, bro, you gotta prepare like you never had it. That's the same thing as getting complacent. If you up in the game, you get complacent.
True.
You come back in the second half, you get beat. We gotta go into the season like we've never had it. Like I tell them every day, whenever you want to get lax and be lackadaisical in practice, to go take a look at our schedule. Everybody we got on our schedule is heavy hitters. So again, and again, we're in a tough district. So if you come out there playing around, you're gonna get embarrassed. And I think you don't make it too more than what it is. No, don't make it bigger than what it is because you want to put added stress on the kids. I don't want to add no stress to them. But at the end of the day, bro, we gotta come out there and play our type of game. We don't want to conform to anybody. We're gonna do what we do and let the chips fall where they lay, man.
Last question before I turn it over to Mr. Boyd. There were 8 games that weekend in the Superdome, and I want to finish on a positive note. I gotta say, the one thing that really stuck out for me of the whole weekend, not the fan base, your fan base. I felt like just what they were, and to me, how much of a difference they made in a game against a high octane team like Cecilia. How much do you give your fan base, your guys that were in the Superdome cheering you on? I mean, how much push did you feel like, and how much difference do you feel like they made that your fans were able to basically interrupt Cecilia? They just were never in sync, and that's credit to your defense, but your fans really did a lot of contributing in that game. What are your thoughts on that aspect?
Well, number one, I told the kids when we warmed up, I said, man, look, when I called them up, I was like, see, right now it's empty in here. I said, but when it's time to run out, watch how packed it be. Now, I will give you this. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't think we was gonna be that deep enough. We was deep.
Y'all
We
were.
was deep, man. The whole city came out. Like what? It didn't matter, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. It didn't matter what school you went to. It didn't matter what community you was in before the dome. Everybody in Opelousas was in that dome cheering for OHS, man, with orange on. So that's what it was about. We united the whole city, man. The city came out, bro, and they had something to be proud of. We took it home, man. Bro, man, when I see that crowd erupt, man, I was like, ooh, Lord, I had the chills going all over my body. I was trying to keep my emotions intact. And then when my quarterback came to me and said, hey, coach, this is like another home game for us, I said, oh, yeah, it's on. And my quarterback was the MVP of the game. He came to me before the game. And when he ran out, he came up to me. He said, ooh, coach, this is like a home game for us. And he balled out that game. I knew it was on right then. I knew it was on. But yeah, man, just to see the city out like that, bro, that was beautiful, bro. That was beautiful.
I tell you what, like George Pepper said, Coach, he and I called the game for Crescent City Sports, and we at the top of the dome in the press box calling the game, and to see that black and orange, that was a beautiful sight. It was,
Yes, sir.
it was, and I tried to meet up with my cousin after the game, but it didn't happen. But I did get a chance to talk to her, and man, I myself, who has family in Opelousas, was very happy for your school and the entire community for y'all winning that state championship.
Man, I'm telling you, it's well deserved, man, with so much negativity around the community. And we got a lot of positive going on also, but to put a stamp on it and make the community just stick their chest out and be just have something to be proud of. And just to accomplish that, man, is just priceless, man. That them moments, them aunties, them cousins, them brothers, them sisters, them moms, them dads, the alumni, the moments they had in that dome, high fiving each other, cheering, taking pictures, that's priceless, man. That stuff that's gonna last a lifetime, man. So that's real legendary, man. So you never take stuff like that lightly, bro, or take it for granted, because it didn't have to be us, but God chose us, and we did it.
And look, when I walked down to go find my cousin, like I didn't get a chance to find her, but the whole lobby area of the Opelousas fans, they were just in the lobby celebrating. They didn't even leave the dome yet. That's how much that
It
championship
was
meant to them.
exciting, man. Yeah, bro, it was exciting, man. You know those people second line to the dome.
No, I didn't know
They had
that.
a band, man. They had a band. I didn't know till after the game they showed me the video. They had a band, and they had a whole group of fans second line into the dome.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Oh yeah, they turned up, man. They,
They,
they turned up, man. They turned up, man.
Wow.
They had a good time, bro. And I'm glad we was able to bring that joy and that excitement to them. And bro, again, hopefully we can do it again this year, man.
oh, no question, Coach. I think y'all got a good shot to do it again next year, Coach. I really do. But
I do too.
Coach Zachery, thank you for joining us. We wish you the best of luck moving forward with your team and your coaching staff, man. And enjoy that state championship.
I will, man. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Definitely,
My
anytime, Coach.
pleasure.
Here, coach.
All right. That was Coach Jimmy Zachery. We had to do an audible. He was having trouble getting in on our streaming site, but that's okay. Things happen, and you got to have a plan B to move forward. That we have. And look, guys, I've talked about East Jeff High School and that feel good story all the time as one of my top feel good stories ever. Seeing a school that could never win a game win a state championship. And
Hmm.
Opelousas, when we had Coach Zachary on the first time during the football season of this school year, he talked about making Opelousas High School relevant and prominent again. He said last season he felt like he had a team to get to the state. It didn't happen. They lost in the second round. They had a bye and loss. They come back this year and tell all the naysayers, hey, we are here. We were supposed to be here. And then they win the state championship. And for that community to have their first state title says a lot on the job he has done. Don't you agree, George Peppers?
100%. And I would have liked to have seen that second line at Opelousas after the championship. Can you imagine that? But look, as you mentioned, you and I and Emmanuel Peppers called that game, and we were like jacked up in the booth. It was like, this is going to be one heck of a football game. Opelousas defense against that high octane offense from Cecilia and Diesel Solari, who had absolutely torched the playoffs in the 4 games in advance. I mean, he was putting up numbers that Madden couldn't even touch. Playing Madden, you couldn't even touch. I mean, those numbers were sickeningly good. I think the interesting aspect of what Opelousas will be this year is, as you guys mentioned during the interview, the elevated schedule. It's enough to be a good team, but if you want to be a great team and win another title, test yourself. And I think it's safe to say with this schedule that is going to happen for sure, VK. Hopefully, and I don't know what their situation is, that we can get them potentially for a Hash It Out Show game of the week for season number 2. Because I tell you what, I wouldn't mind making a trip out there for that atmosphere. I can promise you that's going to be fun times.
Go ahead, VK.
Big
Your thought.
time fun times there. It was, and it's a lot of great stories. What I'm saying, like Opelousas, that was awesome. The East Jeff one was awesome. You can't forget about St. James breaking the curse and finally winning a state championship. You can't forget about Franklinton beating in the car in overtime, and probably, to me, one of probably the best state championship I ever seen. And there's always some great feel goods more than anything else to get over a hump to finally get the championship. And Opelousas,
Hmm.
that's no exception to that. That was awesome of what they overcame over the years, and they've been some great playoff teams in the past. But this time, this team was on a mission to go not just to get to the dome, but to do it one time and finish the job. And that's something the
Yep.
New Orleans Saints has done before.
Oh man, there
With
you
this,
go.
it's the truth.
I know it is, but
Other teams took
a
about
feel
once
good story.
or
You want
twice.
to bring that up? Come on
Hey,
now.
hey, come on now. It's the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? We go there one time, we complete the mission. Everybody else that went 2, 3 times ain't never won it. Some won it twice, but you go one time. That's the greatest feel good thing of all. When you go there for your first time and you finish the job, you gotta love it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say this. When we saw them beat Lutcher, we were kind of like, okay, okay.
Hmm.
When we saw that they beat North DeSoto, I think we all was in our head was like, yo,
They're here.
they might win this. We said,
Yep.
now you got to stop Dito Solari and the Cecilia crew, and that defense stood tall against that explosive offense
Hmm.
at Cecilia.
There were moments in that game, Jared, when we did that game. It was like, let's see, because remember, Cecilia, they never got a 100% foothold in that game. They never were in sync per se, but there were moments when it looked like, oh, there they go. let's see what Opelousas can do. And I tell you what, that defense, the character they showed when Cecilia tried to get momentum at some points in that ball game, it was like, okay, now let's see what you're about because here they go. They're starting to click a little bit, and for them to dig deep, gut check, and get it done, it was a great sight to see. And look, Coach Zachery's going to have naysayers now in advance of what happened. They're going to be people saying stuff. Those quote preconceived notions. You know what? I that's whatever. But I tell you, VK's talking about feel good stories, and y'all were talking about it. Another feel good story from that weekend to me was Union Parish beating St. James because the stigma of them when they fell behind in that game, it was like, oh, running team's not going to get there. They're not going to get there. But I remember you and I were standing on the sideline, Jared, in that second half when UP went for the winning drive, and I turned to you and said, Jared, I'm telling you, and Travion Holly was right there by us, and he nodded to us. He said, "You're right. What I told you. I told you if they go and score, you could forget the kicker. They're going for the deuce, and they did. And Travion Holly looked at us and said, "You're right." Just out of the blue, and they did. They went down, got the score, got the win. I hate it. I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie, I did root for St. James, but that was a gut check win by them that day. But it was overall a great weekend, and hopefully this coming December we're gonna obviously be in that number again, and hopefully the format brings us some more great games. And the fact that we're talking about football in May, that means that before too long, we coming with you with district previews. We coming with you with every preview we could think about. And the one thing we're going to do better this year than we did last, and I know I'm going to get some. Not, I'm not going to get no flack. We got to pick better in the championship. None of us did good last year. We all were mediocre. Not even mediocre. We were horrible. We were terrible. We got to fix that this year. That's my resolution this year, that the three of us be above the Mendoza line, be above 500, and dominate. The Hatchet Out Show cannot represent like that again. We got to stand tall this year.
All right. Before we take a quick commercial break and go to our next guest, Alston Tyler has a question for all of us. Where do we rank the Opelousas defense all time?
Oh,
Gosh,
ooh, damn good question.
yeah, yeah,
To think about that one.
that's a tough one. But we're gonna leave it like this. There was a great defense. It's hard to rank these high school defenses, but that was a great defense. So when we come back after this commercial break, we'll have the new head coach of the UNO Privateers men's basketball, Coach Stacy Hollowell, right here on the Hash It Out Show. Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB, the sports guy. I'm joined by Mr. VK Jones and George Peppers. Our next guest in 2022, he led the Loyola Wolfpack to the NAIA National Championship. Now, a couple years later, he is now back home as the new head coach of the UNO Privateers men's basketball team, the one and only Coach Stacy Hollowell. Coach, how you doing? And thank you for joining us.
I'm good. What's up, fellas?
Not much, Coach. Not much, Coach.
What's up,
Coach.
V?
What's going on, man? How you doing,
It's
Coach?
good to see you, man. Good to see
Good
you.
to see.
It's been a long time.
Welcome,
Yes, it
welcome
has.
back, welcome back to the state, man. I when I heard the news, and we thought about a couple of candidates. I'm
Yeah.
like, say what? You got to be
Yeah.
kidding me! I didn't know if you was gonna come back to the state, but I'm very amazed that UNO brought you on.
Well, I am too. And there were a lot there were a lot of good candidates that applied for this job, and there are a lot of guys that are qualified for this job. And I feel fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. But it's good to be home for sure.
Most definitely, Coach. What was it about this UNO basketball program that intrigued you the most that you want to be the head coach besides being back home?
So I moved here in 1986, and the following year, Tim Floyd moved down the street from me, and I was dribbling down the street to put my camp form in the mail for another school, and as I was dribbling home, he pulled up next to me in what looked like an unmarked cop car, and he said, "Hey, he said, hey, do you know who I am?" I said, "Yes, sir, I know who you are." And he said, "Well, I see you out here dribbling the ball every day. You're playing in the driveway." He said, "That's what it takes to be great." He said, "I'd like to invite you to come to my camp on me this summer." And I said, well, I just put my camp form in the mail, and I need to go ask my mom if she'll let me go to camp." He said, "Well, I don't know about that one, but you can come to mine for free." So from that point on, I was a UNO guy, and I was, in camp there. We would go play. I don't even remember what it was. Some kind of open runs at UNO. We were playing in Ben Franklin gym, and just great memories of my time there, watching games there, going to camp there, and and then obviously, Coach Floyd was a rock star in the state. That gym was packed, and it was electric in there, and so to have a chance, man, just to be on the same sidelines as him, and Tick Price and Joey Stibing, a guy who I worked for, and man, just an awesome experience and opportunity. I'm sitting in the same office freaking Tim Floyd was sitting in. That's big time.
You mentioned Coach Tim Floyd. Um, how much of a mentor? Because y'all are friends. Y'all are friends. How much of a mentor
Yes.
has he been throughout your entire life since that day you met him when you was dribbling the basketball?
He kind of encouraged me through high school, and just keep working hard. Keep wearing those those reversibles. Get out there and work hard, and then when it was time to go to college, um, he was kind of there to help me with that decision, and then get an opportunity to go overseas, and he made a call on my behalf, and get a chance to come back to the States, and he made a call on my behalf, and he's just been there. He's a guy that I've kept in touch with. When a guy leaves here and he goes to Iowa State, leaves Iowa State, and he goes to the Chicago Bulls, you almost feel like, shoot, man, I don't want to bug him, you know. But I just kind of poked in there and just kept in touch, and he I guess remembered that young kid who was dribbling the ball down the street. So been a great influence on my life for sure. And like I said, just super excited to kind of sit in the same role.
166 wins at Loyola and a national championship. What is it from Loyola that you can bring to this UNO basketball team that can help them?
There were challenges not just at Loyola. There were challenges in other jobs, that I had prior to Loyola, and we have challenges at UNO. And so I would say the things that you take away in those experience, in those whatever opportunities, is when there are challenges, you don't back down from them, and you don't complain about them. You dig in and you find ways to overcome them, and that's my plan is to not pout, not complain, just get the job done, do my very best, and let the work speak for itself.
Before I pass it back to VK Jones, my last question to you, Coach. Due to the type of coaching style that you have, what can fans expect to see from your team on the basketball court?
Look, ideally, we're playing fast and we're aggressive defensively. We're pressing, we're getting out, stealing the ball and dunking, you know, um, running good action. Um, but I think the way that we played was an exciting brand, a brand that puts people in the seats. I would also say if the personnel doesn't match that style, there's enough in the tank where we can adjust and adapt and find a style that suits us. And so hopefully we can just go right at people, you know. But if we can't, we're going to spin the Rubik's cube until we can, figure out the solution to the puzzle.
VK,
Coach, man, I gotta ask you this at first, man. Um, you taking the UNO position What is priority job number one for you since you have signed and officially a UNO coach? What's the first mission in your mind?
I mean, really, we've got to put a team together, right? There were two guys returning from last year's team. Uh, Visited with those guys, made sure they're on board. Called the recruits. We were able to retain, some, and some decided to move on. But we've got to build a team, right, and get that done and start building the support in the community. And I would say that those are the goals. And behind that, you build your schedule. Some of that was already done before I got here. But we'll get a team on the floor and start working.
I know things kind of changed a bit, a lot with the transfer portal and everything else. I know it's gonna be like a major adjustment to you, but I know being an assistant deep in D1 more than anything else has kind of helped you to get used to the new kind of thing with the NILs and also the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's a part of the game now, and I think you adapt or you get walked on, and we're going to adapt and do our very best. The portal it's an interesting deal. You end up with some really talented guys there. You end up with guys that get stuck in the portal. And high school guys kind of get left behind a little bit. And where we are right now, if you think about
We lost coach for a
lost
second.
there,
There he is. There he is.
There you go.
they call me. If you think about the guys that maybe had a red shirt year plus a COVID year, you got guys, maybe two red shirt years in a COVID year, now in their seventh year of college. Now you're looking at guys maybe 24, 25 years old playing against 18-year-olds, and the physicality, the strength of guys at that age is a little bit different. The maturity is different. The sense of urgency is different. And so, some of the high school guys have gotten left behind, but there are certainly some talented guys in high school, junior college, that you can pull. But, you got to work the portal as well.
Very much agree. Very much agree. Another big thing, and the thing I noticed.
Y'all there? Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
Yes, sir. We hear you.
I don't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Might have to.
Right.
All right, hold on.
He can't hear us. That's due to the phone call. VK, what you can do, you have Coach Hollowell's number. You tell Coach Hollowell to log off and log back in.
I'm going to log out,
That's
come
due to
right
the phone
back
call
on.
he got. There you go,
There you
Coach.
go.
There you go. All right.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
That's due to the phone call he got.
That happens.
It does. It does. It does. It does. When you're using your phone, it does happen. All right. All right, there you go. He's logged off. We'll have Coach come back in, and we're going to resume with the questions for Coach Stacy Hollowell as soon as we get him back. And here we go. Can you hear us, Coach?
I hear you. Sorry about that. Somebody called me and I
You're
lost
good.
you.
It's all good, Coach.
Yes. Not Coach. I gotta ask you this. The one big thing, and I've done public address for UNO home games a lot the last couple of years. I've done the honor of inducting Tim Floyd to the UNO Athletic Hall of Fame this year and everything.
Okay.
But the biggest thing I noticed over the years, the attendance being down, and it's been down for a long time. What is your strategy to try to hopefully get some kind of a good fan base up at UNO and to get back to the hopefully the 5,000 fans being at UNO Lakefront Arena?
So the landscape now is obviously different, right? We're in a situation where we've got to raise money through guarantee games. Okay. When I got the job, they had a 3-game MTE set up. And when you play a 3-game MTE, that gives you 28 games that you can play. Okay. So the money that we've got to raise, you're looking at 7 to 8 games, right? Where you're playing big teams on the road to reach that number. And if we end up with an 18-game conference schedule, That's 26. That would leave me 2 games that I could play outside of that, right? And so, it's double-sided. Like, we don't want to play the Division twos, the Division threes, the NAIs right now. What I'd like to do is play Tulane if we could, but that game likely won't be at our place in year one. I think it would be great if we could get the UL game started again, for better or for worse on the wins and losses, right? I think it's good for the city. I think it's good for the state. And then you get into conference play, and then you got to make your mark, right? It's not going to matter really what your record is in conference. You got to win the conference tournament to make the tournament. But I think it's good for the city and it's good for the state to get some of those games back on the map. And then we've got to find a way to get that guarantee dollar amount down where we're not going out and playing so many games to raise money, but we're able to bring teams in and play home games. Back in the day, you could do a home and home with an Arizona or name your school, or you can bring them in to play at Lakefront Arena. That would be amazing. Do some sort of 2-for-1, bring an SEC school in, but I think in year one, we've got some parameters we got to work within. We'll do that. Hopefully we can rise to the occasion and then get some momentum going into conference play.
See, this is exactly, you're talking my language, man. I would love to see the Lakefront Arena back to where it was a long time ago with the Tim Floyd days, and even with Monty Towel, with a lot of real good, decent crowds. So, and I hope that really happens. One of your assistants, I think you're gonna be working with him again, and y'all two did some magic, Javon Felix. And I tell you, man, it was amazing what y'all did at Loyola. And I still didn't forget the time. I think Trahan and a lot of people were saying, man, this Loyola team is really good. And you even hit me up and said, come by to a game. And I was like, okay. I come by and I'm like, my mouth dropped. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, I'm just so impressed. I was just so unbelievably impressed. But with you and Javon working together again, how that feels for you?
Yeah, Javon's all right, man. No, I'm kidding. Hey, look, Javon, we were doing a coaches clinic at Loyola, and Javon was a demonstrator there. And, we just talked and got him, on board there. And that was a win for the program, to have him there. And what I learned about Javon is, obviously he's a really good basketball mind. And I think he's going to be a really good head coach. Future is bright for him in the business. But our relationship is very collaborative. We work well together. It's not, you work for me, or that's not really our relationship. We work together. Hey, Javon, what do you think about this? Yes, let's do that. And that's kind of that was our vibe, and it worked really well. He was great with our players. They loved him in skill development. They loved him, sitting down at team meals and just talking life and future and all that kind of stuff. So super excited to have him on board, and we'll see where the chips fall.
Last question, Coach, before I bring it over to George Peppers. Loyola basketball. How amazing that you got that program consistent more than anything else, getting them a national championship. How you feel of that program continuing to be consistent under Donald Reyes as they continue to do well in the conference and them making the postseason?
So, I worked for Coach Mike Girolando, who told me to tell you hello, V. He told me, y'all go way back.
Sure.
So I worked for Coach Gio, and when I got there, Donald had come on as like a volunteer assistant, right? He moved back to kind of help take care of his mom, and he came in one day and he said, "Hey, Coach, you think Coach Gio would be mad if I go interview at Tulane? And I said, well, what does it pay? And he told me what it paid. I said, well, this is what you do. You go in there, you talk to Coach Gio, and if he comes back and tells you that you shouldn't go interview for that job, let me know because I'm in the wrong spot. So, Donald went in, he talked to Coach, and Coach told him that's a no-brainer. You got to do it. And so we go way back, and I was really supportive of Donald getting that job. Super happy for him. He came in right away, had a fantastic first year, struggled a little bit this year, and then boom, just sweeps 4 games in a conference tournament. They win it, get to go to the national tournament. So just so excited for him and where the program is going.
George Peppers.
Coach Hollowell, first off, thank you for taking the time to joining us here on the Hash It Out Show, and a belated congratulations on getting the job you wanted, the UNO. And my first question is going to be about that. When this job came open, because it felt like this came out of the blue. Mark Schlesinger leaving out of the blue in April to take the job at Indiana State to be an assistant, and he's been the longest tenured. He was the longest tenured head coach at UNO, 13 years. Granted, the successes haven't come the last few years, but when this job first popped open, Coach, how sure of you that you thought you could get this job when you looked at, the aspects of it, and coming back to New Orleans when it popped open, how much discussion was there to you amongst family, like, hey, look, if they call me, we're going?
Yeah, so I think to answer your first question, how sure was I? Not very. Uh,
Okay.
I just wasn't, and you feel like, oh, maybe I'm in a good spot, and but you just never know until you know. And so, I talked to my wife about it, and she said, "You got to do it. You got to try," and threw my name in the hat. And I know some of the names that applied for this job, and just unbelievable interest in the position. In the head coaching position, right? That's
Hmm.
not even to say in the assistant coaching positions. Um, but yeah, just wasn't sure. Family was super excited, and yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I don't know.
It does. Next question about the makeup of this year's basketball team. We obviously put tapes in from this past season. It was a titanic struggle for UNO. They never really got solid footing this past year. Just it felt like there's just something was amiss. What did you see from this past season's tape? And when you look at what you got coming in, uh, obviously the style is going to change because you play a very high octane press, and shoot the basketball quickly. Besides that, what else has to change for this UNO basketball team to have a modium of success for you in your first year?
I think the biggest thing is that guys have trust in me, and that we build trust in each other. When you have that, things move faster. You
Hmm.
know, um, if guys have doubts about what my intentions are or what my motives are, um, things move slower. Your team doesn't grow as fast.
Hmm.
Um, and so we'll get in there and have real conversation. Let guys know kind of where we stand, what our expectations are, kind of what the standards are for the program. And and then when we have disagreements, we got to be able to talk them out in the office. We got to be able to talk them out in the film room. uh, and it's got to be constructive, right? It can't be emotional and off the rails. And so I don't know what the team dynamic was. Um, all I know about is what I intend our team dynamic to be. And if those things fall in place, um, I think we're going to be just fine.
Styles bring people to seats. It's a very important aspect, considering the excitement that your offense is going to generate, that your style of play is going to generate. I feel like the attendance problem that BK mentioned to you may start to go away, and hopefully that happens. But let's talk about the pay to play games. You said I think you're going to schedule 8 of them. Um, Have you locked in any ones yet for this upcoming season, or not yet?
There were some games that were scheduled, contracted before I got the job.
Okay.
That was Baylor, LSU, Iowa.
Ooh,
There's one other that I can't recall, and then there was an MTE on the road. Um, so outside of that, there has been incredible interest in playing us, right?
right.
Um, so we're going to have to make some decisions on who those games are, and make sure that the dates and the money fit. You know.
Besides the financial windfall from those pay to plays, because look, let's be honest, they generate a lot of revenue. As far as competitiveness, what do you look to accomplish? What are you looking to see in these pay to plays that you're going to play this first year? What are you looking to see from your team that's going to help define their chances going into the Southland?
The effort, the competitiveness. I think you'll see those things pretty quickly. Um, what the outcome is early is not as important as, um, kind of what we're building. But I think you'll see that effort right away. You know.
And the Southland Conference is always a wide open conference. There's never that one team that really sticks out. And I think the competitive nature of this conference, plus added into the fact that you're going to play these pay to plays, I feel like it's going to be a benefit for UNO going into Southland play. It's almost like a class drop. And it sounds it's a horse racing term I'm using. That instead of playing thoroughbreds, you're playing different. Instead of playing high octane teams, you're playing teams that are more your level. What is the most reasonable aspect of reasonable look for success in year one of the Coach Stacy Hollowell era at UNO?
Well, when I got to TSU, one of the assistants said, "I like you, man, Stacy Hollowell." He said, "Under promise, over deliver." And
Hmm,
so I think that's what I'd give you, as my answer to that question.
that's good.
I don't want to make any predictions. Um, what I do want to do is put a team on the floor that's competitive.
Hmm.
Um, to your point about the guarantee games, um, we had opportunities at Loyola to play games against lower level teams that we thought were sure wins, you know, and when we really hit, full speed, those games really weren't good for us, right? It was good to get a win, but you leave almost feeling like you got worse, you know, and so I'm all about the challenges, and the results may or may not be there early on in the way that we want them. But I think we're setting a foundation for conference play. When we get into conference play, the field will be balanced a little bit. With that said, you've got a monster in McNeese right now, right?
Yes.
You've got a really good Lamar team, a really good Nichols team. You've got an Incarnate Word program that is putting some really impressive recruits together right now, and have some NIL stuff working that they have kind of built through last season. Houston Christian's coach is really, really good. A guy that won an NAI national championship in 2017. Did a really nice job at Emporia State Division II. Southeastern's always going to be formidable. So I think the league is improving. Um, and again, like, I could throw out some crazy number where we're going to finish in conference. I just don't know that it makes sense to do that, right? I want a
True.
good competitive team on the floor, and let the work speak for itself.
Last question before I turn it back over to Jared. The successes UNO had early on with Benny Dees, Tim Floyd, and Monty Toe. And Mark Schlesinger too. And my question: how much pressure do you feel to? I don't want to say emulate because I feel like it's unfair to you. How much pressure do you feel to try to get to that level of play at UNO?
Well, I don't feel like the pressure is coming from anyone other than myself. It's the
Okay.
same pressure that I put on myself at Loyola. It's the same pressure that I put on myself when I was coaching internationally. And, you know, I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to treat my team with respect and build trust. And like I said, you know, the chips will fall where they fall.
Coach Stacy Hollowell, thank you for joining us, sir, and good luck
Yeah,
to
yeah.
you in the upcoming season. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. Thank y'all.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, take care.
All right.
That was Coach Stacy Hollowell, the new head coach of UNO Privateers men's basketball program. And I'm going to say this: when that hire was made, I haven't heard so much news about UNO's basketball program since that hire happened. And people are excited due to knowing about Coach Hollowell, what he did at Loyola. He was an associate athletic director of the Ole Miss basketball team, and he helped bring in a top 12 recruit in the nation. Not recruiting class, I should say, excuse me, top 12. And then he was an assistant at Texas Southern. And man, I've heard nothing but great reviews on this hire. Heard it from you, VK. Heard it from you, George. Ken Trahan. Everybody is excited on this hire. Now, if we can get UNO basketball back to where it was during the Tim Floyd era, and they consistently competing for a Southland Conference championship and so on, things will be much better. VK, don't you agree?
I definitely think so, man. It's amazing how Coach remembered me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's because I remember like because me and Ken Trahan, I talked to him a little bit about Loyola basketball, and he told me about Stacy Hollowell. And he's like, "Hey, check him out. They're a very consistent program, and he's won almost 20 games throughout his career at Loyola, and it's been the most consistent they ever been."
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, when that national championship year, I talked to Emmanuel Peppers and Jude Young, and they put a beating on UNO at the Lakefront Arena, and they said this could be the best basketball team in the state of Louisiana. And I'm like, they're that good? And that's when Coach Hollowell was like, come to a game. When I went seeing that game, my mouth dropped and I was shocked. I said, these guys, yeah, they could win the whole thing. That's how good they are. So, but I really his tenure, his resume says it itself. And we thought about one coach, but when I didn't never thought that he would come back to the state. For hearing that name, wow. I think that's a big home run high for UNO. I'm looking forward to see what happens at the Lakefront Arena. Not just on the men's side, but on the women's side too. Because Trelane Powell did a great job in her first year and the great improvement of
yeah.
that team. And what I'm hearing so far, she's getting the majority of those players back. So that is going to be interesting for year two. So, like I said, Coach Powell year two, Coach Hollowell year one. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I really think UNO basketball is going to be probably one of the best games in town. I'm going to be honest with
George Peppers, your thoughts?
Now, I'm going to pick at VK here because he said that Coach Hollowell, I mean, he was surprised that Coach Hollowell remembered him. Who could forget such a pretty face, right? No, I'm goofing around now. But I'm going to share a story about, and this is involving Emmanuel Peppers. He basically took me and VK is like, guys, do y'all research. Because he mentioned, me and VK mentioned another candidate that we're not going to mention now because it's irrelevant. But Emmanuel told me, he said, look, y'all forgetting one guy. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what, VK, I don't know what you told him, but he told me, he goes, dude, how do you forget about that guy? And I'm like, oh, yeah, national championship coach. And I'm like, I felt, you know what, at that point, I was like, you know what? that would be an ace hire. And when that happened, my mom actually showed me a story. I had just gotten home from work and she goes, "Did you hear the news?" And I'm like, "No, what news?" I hate when that mystery happens when parents say stuff like that. She goes, "UNO's got a new coach." I'm like, I immediately looked. I was like, "Oh, home run." This is an absolute home run. But for Stacy Hollowell, the realistic expectations, guys, look, let's be honest. Those pay to play games, they're not going to win. Maybe they might get lucky and get one if they're playing eight.
You
The
never
re- the
know. You never
I know you're
know.
right. You're right. Some of those pay to plays, those teams that have no shot, go in there and beat the brakes off of you. It happens. It's not saying it's never going to happen. With the construction of this roster, what's it going to look like? It's going to need time to gel and time to get right. And the style of play is going to be completely different than what they used to play. And VK, I'm glad you mentioned Traylon Powell. What you need to mention is why her season went sideways late. Three starters went out with season ending injuries, and they were playing from the eight ball. They were playing from behind the last part of that season. And I think, was it Southeastern that put him out in the Southland tournament? If I remember right, I think it was Coach Ayla and them that put him out.
Yeah,
But
yeah, they did. But even with the three people out, they still was
they
competitive.
were fighting.
They
That's what I
were
was getting
fighting
to.
and they were still winning. See, that's
That's
the thing.
that,
That's the thing too that impressed me.
okay.
Me and Jared at the Southeastern game in Hammond, and they should have
Terrible
won.
officiating that day too.
And they should have won the game.
Yep.
Terrible
Look,
officiating both sides.
before he jumped in, Jared, I was going to finish my point.
Go ahead, make your
Uh,
point. Go ahead, finish your point.
No, I was
I'm
gonna
listening.
say I am a big fan of Traylon Powell's style. I think we had her on the show, and we look forward to having her again going forward as we get closer to basketball season. With that being said, I think this is a team that a majority of their starters are back, and the schedule may be a little bit different. Could this be a team that takes a quantum leap and puts themselves in that discussion of getting not just to the Southland, but winning it and putting their name in the NCAA field? Who cares if you're going to be a 16? That doesn't matter. The fact that you get to go is a trip, is a pleasure in and of itself. And you're right, VK. UNO basketball, they have a very bright future. The association, the fans must be patient. Let Stacy Hollowell cook. He will. Let Traylon Powell continue to build. She will. And you're going to see the successes that resonate. Now, the crowd attendance has been very subpar. It has been. Why? Because there's been lackadaisical interest in both UNO programs. And I think winning breeds success. And when these teams start to win on the regular, all fans are going to be knocking down the gates to get back to Lakefront. I remember those days when Benny Dees was coach, Tim Floyd. The arena was nice. It was a hard ticket to get. These guys, Coach Hollowell and Coach Powell, are going to make it a hard ticket to get. And I'm looking forward to the challenges that they're both going to face. And I feel like they're going. This is UNO's in good hands with both programs, with the men and the women, Jared. I feel like they're going to be in good hands going forward, and it's not going to take Traylon long. I feel like another year, maybe two, that UNO finds their way. I feel like they can be a championship conference team, a team that can win a conference championship. And who cares if you can be a 16 playing a Tennessee or not Tennessee, a Connecticut or a Stanford or whoever? It doesn't matter. The fact that you make a tournament and your name's on that bright screen and you're playing, you never know. Heck, who was it that beat Stanford? It was a 16 in Ivy League. Was it an Ivy League school that
Harvard.
beat them?
Harvard.
Who? Yeah,
Harvard.
the Crimson. You're not going to associate them as a powerhouse, so why not UNO? That would be the mantra I'd embrace if I'm UNO's women and men. Why not us? That's the simplest one.
Well, before we take a quick commercial break, my boy seldom seen. Where you been, man? Where you been? How you come with this statement of telling me I need to do this? I ain't seen you on here since football season. Where you been, seldom? But I'm
Uh-oh.
glad. No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, man. We want you here every week though. But I'm glad he's here. But let's look. Track and field just ended. Just ended. We're gonna try to get into the track and field stuff tomorrow. Talk about the championships, who won what, and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's give a shout out. Let's give a shout out. What you mean so? No, man. Where you been? But let's give a shout out to John Eric. They finished second in the 4x100
Yep.
track team consisting of Curtis Milburn, my boy, Armani Cargo, Chad Jackson, and Keenan. He doesn't have Keenan last name. I saw Armani run the 100-meter dash. I thought Armani pulled up. I even went on Twitter. Did he pull up? But no, he just had a bad start. My brother told me that he was there. He said Armani had a bad start in the 4x100. But Josh Brown ran a good race. Oh, you good, Seldom. It's all good, man. But shout out that 4x100 they were running, and Armani was on the anchor. Armani was coming. Armani was coming. You give Armani about another 20 meters, 20 meters. I think he would have caught who took first place? I can't remember. But they ran good though. They ran good. But tomorrow I want to talk about the track and field state championships pretty much because once again Scotlandville just I know you want to say something like you itching to say something. What you want to
Well,
say?
before we go into the commercial, you know what I'm saying? That's huge shout out to the John Eric Track, but also prayers going out to John Eric High School
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because of the band director Marvin Haywood passed away. I think about a couple of days ago, and everything else. He's been an integral part of the big time improvement of the John Eric marching band, and he's been going through a lot. Going through a lot personally and everything else, and he passed away a couple of days ago. Very, very tragic, especially for the John Eric community in the city of Marrero. So our prayers go out to John Eric High School and the family of Marvin Haywood.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely, man. I heard the news. I was in total shock. All right, everybody. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got two other topics to quickly talk about regarding the NBA playoffs and the state baseball semifinals that's coming up this week, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Head coach of the Hornville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching the Hash It Out Show.
You're watching the Hash It Out Show!
Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy, alongside VK Jones and George Peppers. Let's get to these basketball NBA playoffs right now. Boston Celtics took care of business against the Cavs earlier in game one of the second round. And right now, OKC and Dallas are tied at 17 with 3 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first quarter. But the Minnesota Timberwolves really look like the best team right now. And they are putting a beating on the defending champions right now with a 2-0 lead in the series. I watched the game last night for a little bit because I cut it off. Couldn't watch no more. And I sat there and said for the first time, I don't know if there's anything Denver can do to win this series. I don't know if they can make 50 adjustments and still win this series. I really don't know because right now the defense that Minnesota is putting on them, and then Anthony Edwards just phenomenal. Cat doing his thing. You don't need Mr. Overrated Rudy Gobert at all, but I just don't know if there's anything Denver can do. George Peppers.
You know, that game, you talk about Minnesota and Denver last night. For the first time, I could honestly say the Nuggets looked frazzled. They looked they looked absolutely beaten. They looked downtrodden. And you know it's bad. Sometimes there's moments when you come out of character. And Jamal Murray had that moment last night, throwing a heating pad on the floor. He has been fined by the NBA, but has not been suspended. That was announced earlier. Um, Nikola Jokic, as great as you are, buddy, I saw a flat-footed Nikola Jokic last night, and I think it's more frustration at what Minnesota's defense has done. And VK, you and I said this last week about the Timberwolves and the Nuggets series. We thought, for those that make presumptions about, oh, Denver's going to run through them, we told y'all, this T-Wolves team, y'all better put some respect on their name. Those cats are hungry. And overrated Rudy Gobert. There's a story I want to share about that dude.
Mm.
And Gilbert Arenas put this out. He missed game 2 last night for the birth of his child. Okay. But Gilbert Arenas decided on his podcast to say, why should you care? Your child's always going to be there. He's saying your child's gonna be there. You should have played last night. You're selfish. And I'm like, there's a just shut up award, and I want to give it to him. Who wants to miss the birth of their child when they have the opportunity to have it happen? Come on, man, Gilbert, slow your roll. And you mentioned Boston winning tonight. That series, I said this on our chat, and it's not going to last long. No matter that Porzingis is not there, they're going to win that thing in five. I think if Cleveland is good enough to get one game, it'll be at Quicken Loans. Uh, but Minnesota, VK, oof. Now there's people saying they're going to win the NBA championship. Let's pump the brakes on that. Let's pump the brakes. They're good enough if they play like they did last night. They're not going to play like that even at home. I think the Nuggets are going to do the Custer's last stand. Hey, look, our title reign is at stake. We got to come with some character and come with some better effort. Um, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough. VK, for this Nuggets team to flip this series back in their favor. They're going to have to win both games at Minnesota to even have a puncher's chance. I don't know if it's going to happen. It may not leave Minnesota. Maybe the Timberwolves put the broom on them. It's potentially going to happen if they play like they did last night. Would you agree?
Definitely. When you look at it, yeah, some people going overboard saying the Timberwolves won the champ. I ain't gonna lie.
They're good enough.
Timberwolves got a great chance to get to the finals. I'll tell you that now. And here's the thing. Here's the main thing. You're looking at it. Gobert. And he wasn't there, but Gobert don't have to do just get your rebounds. All you need to average is 10. But then Nas Reed is stepping up. Cat stepping up. The big bodies they're throwing at Jokic. That is not, it's wearing Jokic out, but they're not just that the biggest factor. Jamal Murray is not 100%. He's not 100%. That's why his numbers is not where it is right now.
Nope.
And that's not good. I said it myself. If Denver's going to win it all, it's got to be with Jokic and Murray on the same wavelength. Right now, they're not on the same wavelength. That's not good. Then on top of that, somebody's missing. There's an APB out on Michael Porter Jr. Where is he at right now?
Well, hold on now. Hold on. Are you saying for the series or the entire playoffs?
We talking about for the series.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Where is he at?
He's been playing well in the playoffs, but
He's been
this
playing.
series, okay, I will agree with that.
He's been playing well, but in the playoff, but he's been well in the playoffs. But in this series, in general, period, he has not showed up at all. He has not showed up at all in this series, and man, they need him bad because I'm telling you, if they don't come together and handle their business, especially they're in trouble. They're in deep, deep trouble. This Minnesota team has really
He's
showed.
in deep trouble now.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're in big trouble because I'm like this. If Minnesota wins game 3, it's done for. It is done. We're gonna have a new champion this year. Just too bad to say that because the fact of the matter is the big fact is Jamal Murray's not 100%. And that's just what it is.
He was 100% up on that heating pad last night. I mean, can we? Huh?
You funny.
Young brother made a mistake, but how about we talk about the Eastern Conference game last night? The New York Knicks playing Indiana.
That's what I was getting to next about the New York
Okay.
Knicks and the Pacers game last night, which was a great game. But go ahead, George. You are the New York Knicks fan up here. Go
I
ahead.
am, and I'm going to be the modest one. I'm not going to be the one like I did in round one talking noise because someone here picked Philly to win that series, and it wasn't me or VK. Just saying. With that being said, I thought this matchup, and I said this in our chat, I feel like this matchup is tailor made for the Knicks because Indiana's nowhere near as physical as Philadelphia. They're a different breed of basketball team. They can get up and down the floor. And if you'd have told me Tyrese Halliburton was going to score 6 points and the Knicks only won by 4, you would think the Pacers are in a good spot. I think the Knicks are going to make some adjustments defensively in game 2. And I feel like, you know, if I'm them, Halliburton can go off, but stop those other guys, Hembarn, and those guys. I mean, they did some work last night, and they really took it to the Knicks, and the Knicks were down halftime by 6. They win by 4, and Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson, guys. 5th straight playoff game with 40 points and 5 assists. No one has ever done that before in the history of the NBA. It happened last night. And you talk about the role players for the Knicks stepping up. Dante DiVincenzo got you 25, but the guy that really stood out for me, that has stood out for me in these playoffs, and he was an integral part of what they did against Philadelphia, Josh Hart. That dude is an effort player on both ends of the floor, and they needed that. And I will be confident to say this: if the New York Knicks had Julius Randle in this lineup, if they had him, and they don't, he's done for the year. But if Randle's in this lineup, they beat the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals because I see it, Jared. I know where you're going, but I'm telling you, they would run dudes on the post guys, and look, Jalen Brown and everything else. Those guys are incredibly good, but I feel like the Knicks would have been their measure. But they still could both meet in the conference finals. I mean, yeah, they both have won. Boston winning big tonight against Cleveland, no surprise. Dallas, Oklahoma City. I think that series is going seven. Uh, and VK, I feel like, and I know you're not the biggest fan of Julius Randle. You've kind of made your bones about it a few times about Julius, but it's a fair argument to make. If Randall's in this lineup with the way the Knicks play defense, Randall would have given him energy and given him more punch on the inside. Not that they don't have it, because they got Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, but Julius Randall's an upgrade over both of them, quite frankly. And you got him in that lineup. I think this team is a finals team, and it still could be, still could be. But I feel like with the way they play, they're going to make adjustments in game two, and I think they win the game going away in game two.
I think looking at it, Tyrese Halliburton, and I hate to say it, Halliburton
He's done.
has not just stunk in that one game. Halliburton has not been that dude in the second half of the season. He has not been that same dude since early in the year, and it shows.
This is a key fact right here from Austin Tyler, the general manager who helped build the Denver Nuggets, is now in Minnesota. Ooh, that's a key fact.
That is a key fact. That is a key fact. But it is. But at the same time, I'm like this. Halliburton has not been playing the same since the first half. And everybody else in the Pacers, they've been playing straight and everything else. The Knicks, they're trying to find the edge. And you make a good point about Randall. Randall being there. Okay. But I ain't gonna lie. You know what? I would love to see this in the finals. And I don't care what anybody say. And I'm gonna be bold on this. I would love to see a Minnesota Timberwolves New York Knicks final. I would love to see this because
Minnesota don't want that matchup.
the two players that are starting to catapult the league to start to carry it a bit, Brunson and Edwards, how them two are playing right now, especially in the second half of the season to the playoffs, has been amazing. And I would love to see them two in the finals. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would love to see Brunson versus Edwards in the finals. That is going to be must-see television if it happens.
All right, guys. Let's move on now to the LHSAA baseball playoffs semifinals, which are happening later on this week. Let's start with Class Division 1 non-select, and let me get this zoom a little bit because this is can y'all see it pretty good out there, VK?
No, we don't.
All right. I'm gonna fix it because I'm trying to get it all in there, but it's
okay. It's a semifinal, so we should be good.
All right. So I'm trying to get it all in one, but I'm not able to. But
that's fine.
Follow me up here. Okay, I got it on the screen. Division 1 non-select May 9th, which is Thursday, 5:30. One game. Barb and Benton. Who y'all got? Go ahead, George. You go first.
I'm gonna go with Barb. I think the Buccaneers are gonna get it done. They've had a really nice run getting here. Benton has been stout in these playoffs, and I think the Bucks and their experience that they can lean on, being in this spot, and it's a renaissance a little bit. They feel like a team that's got unfinished business. I think VK. I'm gonna go with the Bucks here.
VK.
Barb coming in, defending state champions. Benton, nice run, but that ends. Barb gets back to the state championship.
All right. Sam Houston, the home team, right there, a little bit north of Lake Charles, taking a short trip to Sulphur to take on West Monroe. Oh, I didn't pick. I didn't pick my pick. I got Barb, of course, out of the state,
All right.
out of the finish state champs. But down here, I got West Monroe. Who you got, George?
I could be bold here because it's a de facto home game for the Sam Houston club. But the Rebels, they're another team on a mission. I think we're going to get the rematch of last year's final this year. And it'll be very juicy to get it, VK. West Front Row, Barb. Who's not salivating about that rematch? I'm going with the Rebels as well.
I expect this game to go down the wire like last year. I called that game last year in the semifinals. Sam
Mhm.
Houston had West Monroe dead to rights,
Mm,
but West Monroe kept chipping and chipping, and they came up big with 3 runs in the seventh to win the ball game to take on Barb in probably one of the best state championship games you'll ever see. I think the rematch will happen again. I wouldn't be surprised. It might be another walk off for West Monroe to get to that state title game again.
You can't call it walk-offs, Darren. That's cool. That's awesome.
mm. Oh
Yes,
man,
indeed.
will you be in Sofa, VK? I know you got to go
No,
for Nunez.
No, I no. This is the same week, so I'm going. I'm gonna be in Oxford, Alabama tomorrow, all the way maybe to Monday. It depends on where Nunez goes and how deep they go, but we'll see what happens. But I'm in Oxford all week, so
All right, cool. Let's move to Division 1 Select. Catholic of Baton Rouge, the #1 team in the nation. Nation, everybody. They taking on Acadiana. I got Catholic. Who you got, VK?
Catholic Bears back to the title game.
George Peppers.
too deep, too good. Been great all year. Baton Rouge Catholics going to the final.
It's like every player that starts for Catholic is going to D1. Everyone
Yep,
is.
that's
And
crazy.
yeah, that is amazing and crazy. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the Battle of the East Bank happening in Sulphur. Archbishop Rummel, John Curtis. John Curtis, the 2 seed, Rummel, the 3 seed, but Rummel were the district champions. They meet again. VK, who you got?
Whew, close one, but I like the pitching of Romo. I wouldn't be surprised. Giancarlo Arancibia might be getting that start in that ball game. So we'll see what happens. But I like Romo's experience in pitching. Close game. They'll get it done.
George
See, I don't
Pepper.
know if I'm starting Aaron CBI in this semifinal. I mean, if they get to the final, he's starting. I think I would take a gamble. Rummel's pitching staff is plenty good to win this game. It's a one game setup, right?
Yeah,
So you need one game to get to the final. John Curtis is going to be a tough team, though. I mean, they've been that way all year long. Jeff Curtis has done an amazing job with them. Um, but I feel like the Raiders and Coach Cazzo are going to be that team that gets the Catholic in the final, and another tantalizing final with a potential final with Rummel and Baton Rouge Catholic. How about that if that happens?
I'm going to say this. Rummel feels that they should be the champs from last year, losing the Jesuit in the state championship.
Hmm.
Rummel wants to get back there to right that wrong. I think Rummel gets the win over Curtis, maybe 2-1. Close ball game, 2-1 ball game, I'm guessing. But I'm going with Rummel. I think Rummel gets the job done. Now, Division 2 non-select. #1 seed, Lutcher and Iowa. I'm going to go first. I got the Lutcher Bulldogs. Who you got, VK?
Close game. Close game. Lunch has been so consistent all year long. Iowa, not too far. And they're not going to lay down. They're going to be ready to play. But I think the Lutcher Bulldogs will get by.
I'm going to say this. We saw Iowa bring the entire town to the top 28. Oh, you best believe they taking that little quick drive to Sulphur. They coming. George Peppers, who you got?
That's that next door neighbor mentality. They'll be on their way. They're probably already camping out over there. But I feel like Lutcher has been that team all year long. They're the top seed, and the Bulldogs in another sport, i.e., other than football, are going to have a chance at postseason success, and they've done it so far. I think Lutcher gets to the final, though.
All right, the other side of the bracket, we got North Vermilion hosting Pearl River. I think North Vermilion gets the job done. VK.
I'm going to be bold.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to be bold.
Uh-oh.
Remember, we had an underdog team got to the title game last year. That was Lakeshore. Pearl River gets to the title game.
Ooh. George Peppers.
Play safe here. I'm gonna go North Vermilion. Pearl River has been incredible. VK's dead right. The Rebels have been dead on accurate in these playoffs. I think it ends here though. North Vermilion gets to the championship.
Division 2 select. St. Louis Catholic versus St. Thomas More. I don't remember who won this last year. Do you remember, VK? Was this?
St. Louis won that one last year.
I thought so. And I'm going with the defending champions, St. Louis Catholic.
Whoa. I'm sorry.
Mm,
I'm sorry. Vanderbilt Catholic won the state title last. I'm sorry.
Terriers.
I thought you was talking about the semifinals. But it was Vanderbilt Catholic who won it last year.
Vanderbilt Catholic beat St. Louis.
They beat E.D. White for the state
To
championship.
win.
Oh, so they beat E.D. White for the state championship, and then they just
Yep.
beat E.D. White again in three games.
Right.
Gotcha. All right. Anyway, I'm still going with St. Louis Catholic to get to the championship to the St. Thomas More. Who you got, BK?
I agree. St. Louis has just been very consistent. They're on a mission to try to finish the job. I got St. Louis.
George Peppers.
Oh, yeah, the Saints, right? Isn't that what St. Louis is?
That's it.
All right, who that say they're gonna beat them Saints? I know, Jared, you are picking against St. Thomas More. We're just gonna. It's an inside joke with that one, but I'm gonna do a VK. Where's Shaw at? Oh, that's right, they're not here. But all kidding aside, I'm gonna pick the Saints to get to the final. It should be an incredibly good semifinal, though. But I think St. Louis gets to the championship game.
All right. Then we have Vanderbilt Catholic against Turling's Catholic. I'm going with the Terriers, Vanderbilt Catholic, to get back to the state championship. VK.
Vandy Catholic going back to defend their state championship in a rematch against St. Louis Catholic. They met in the semis, close ball game, and Vanderbilt pulled that off.
Make it three. I'm going with Vanderbilt Catholic too. That they're to beat a team, you got to beat the team, and I don't think it's this semifinal. I think Vanderbilt gets back to the title game.
All right. Division 3, non-select South Beauregard and Doyle. I'm going to go with the 1 seed South Beauregard. VK.
South Beauregard and Doyle win Division 3, right? Non-select.
I'm select.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be bold on this one. To my boy from Nunez Community College, Evan Ross, his alma mater. I'm going with Doyle to get back to the state championship game. Unfinished business for Doyle.
George Peppers.
I'll say nothing except who I'm picking. I'm gonna go with South Beauregard. I get VK being bold. Being bold might get you with a lot of L's. Just saying. But South Bow is gonna win this game and get to the final.
Berwick and Sterlington. 14 seed Berwick, 2 seed Sterlington. I'm going to go with the 2 seed Sterlington. VK, are you being bold again?
Yes, we're gonna have a rematch of last year's state championship again. Doyle versus Berwick. Berwick to defend the state championship once again is gonna be a great one. Those two teams was in an extra inning game, and Berwick winning their first ever state championship for their school, and they're gonna rematch again. So I like Berwick over Sterlington.
Go ahead, George Peppers. Who you got?
They've had some bumps along the way, Berwick, and now they've seemed to have found themselves. I was going to pick them too, doggone it, but I will anyway. I'm going to go with Berwick as well. I think the fact that they won this thing last year and they can draw on that, whereas Sterlington doesn't have that experience. I think Berwick and the run that they've made has been really, really good, and I think they've got one more in them, and they get to a final.
All right, Division 3 select defending state champs and the original coach from last year's back coach of the baseball team, Coach Wayne Stein. You didn't know that, VK?
No, I did not.
Uh,
What
well,
they made a switch or something?
I will tell you off the air. I will not say it on the air why he's coaching. I will tell you off the air.
Okay.
But most people know why, but you don't know. Okay, but I'll tell you off the air. All right. But St. Charles versus Holy Savior Menard. I got St. Charles getting back to the championship game. Who you got, VK?
I got St. Charles as well to get back to have a chance for a three-peat.
Yeah, three-peat, huh? It's like the football team.
Yes.
That they didn't, but they didn't win. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, we don't want to debate how that happened, right?
Yeah,
I
you
gotta
know.
say this: you gotta put some respect on what Menard has done this year, this playoff run. I don't think they beat St. Charles, but I tell you what, the Comets are going to have to earn this one. That's a very good baseball team from Central Louisiana, and they've really held the mantra. I think it's close, but the Comets get to the final.
And the other side of the bracket, University Lab versus Parkview Baptist. Oh, I got a feeling Parkview Baptist pulls this out, VK.
I gotta agree. I gotta agree. It's gonna be interesting, very close game, but I think Parkview will pull it out probably by overrun.
George Peppers.
I'm gonna go Parkview Baptist as well. I think it's gonna be these two teams just can't duck each other in playoffs in sports, can they?
No.
But I'm gonna go with Parkview to get the job done here and get to the final.
All right. In Division 4 non select, we have the state championship already settled. It's going to be Oak Grove taking on Mangum. Oak Grove defeated the Quincy 6-5 today, and Mangum defeated French Settlement 3-1. That's Division 4 non-select. In Division 4 select, Opelousas Catholic defeated Central Catholic, so they're going to the championship game. And the 11th seed Glenbrook defeated Covenant Christian 3-2. So it will be Opelousas Catholic versus Glenbrook on Friday. Division 5
And,
non-select.
and before you continue, Glenn broke with that upset. You notice what field it was on. Field 40. And field
That's your
40,
upset field.
that's the upset field. I called a
Yep,
lot of those games on that field last year. So trust me, if you're on field 40, high
trouble.
seeds, don't underestimate anything without that. The only top seed that came up, the only top seeds that came up big was West Monroe and St. Charles Catholic.
I'm not laughing at you, BK. I'm not. Kenneth Hall here, big St. Charles Catholic fan. He's saying we need to go ahead and just say St. Charles Catholic for the three-peat. It will make us look good.
Some of us did that in football, and what happened?
Hey,
Kenneth?
look. He was. I don't know if y'all remember. He was talking trash to me from the stands during the St. Charles
Yes,
Catholic game, and
yes, he
then
was.
and then when St. Charles went for it on fourth down and didn't get it, he was gone. You couldn't find him. You couldn't find
APB.
him. He was gone. But hey man, look, we're picking semifinal games. We're not picking the championship. I'm sorry. But if y'all do win it, trust me, Wayne Stein will be back on this show. Yes, he will. We will make sure that happens. Okay,
Yep.
Mr. Kenneth Hall. I'll see you in the morning. All right, moving on. Division 5 non-select. Um, Quitman defeated Pitkin 1-0. That was a 5 seed Quitman. And the 3 seed Hicks defeated number 2 seed Western 5-1. They will play on field 40 on Friday, which is called the upset field. So I guess Quitman is gonna win. Anyway, anyway, um, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Hash It Out show tonight. We are back tomorrow night. I'm gonna let VK tell you all who we have coming on the show tomorrow.
And you can't forget about Division 5 Select, Avoy's Charter.
Oh, wait.
Avo-
Let me do it. I'm so
Avo-
sorry. Division 5 Select, Avoyles Public Charter defeated Rapide 6-0, and Family Community defeated Grace Christian 7-6. So it will be Avoyles Charter versus Family Community on Field 41, where they say the best games happen over there. But, with that being said, apologize for forgetting about Division 5 Select. But with that being said, VK, who we got coming on tomorrow, buddy?
Tomorrow night, man, we got a really good show for you. We're gonna start it off with Tulane's new women's head coach, Ashley Langford. She will be joining us at 7:30, and then around 8:15, we'll have Loyola baseball head coach Jeremy Kennedy joining us on the show to talk about the season and hopefully some hopes that his team might make the NAIA tournament. The selections come out on Thursday, so we're looking to have Ashley Langford from the Tulane women and Jeremy Kennedy from Loyola Baseball tomorrow night on the Hash It Out Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. George Peppers, do you have any last words?
I do. In reference to Loyola, I don't think they won their conference tournament. I think they did get upset, so
Yeah, they
they're
did.
gonna have to
They
sweat
did.
it out. They're gonna have to sweat it out here. I think they're gonna get in, and they're gonna make an impact in the national tournament. So we hope the best for Coach Kennedy and his group. But last words, VK Jones is going to go to Oxford, Alabama tomorrow with fatter pockets, thanks to my Derby selections. One, two, three. How you like it? But we'll try to do that in 2 weeks' time, VK. But it won't pay nowhere near what you got Saturday. Nowhere. You might get enough to get a Snickers bar if this one hits. You might. I'm just saying it's chalked out. But yeah, Derby weekend was great. And look, I was trying to live tweet, and my Twitter page got hacked, but I got it back. I got it together. And so for the Preakness, we'll see. But it's another great show tonight, and looking forward to it tomorrow. VK, you gonna join us? Because I know you're traveling tomorrow.
Well,
Are you gonna?
I will let you guys know when I get to Oxford what this team schedule is and
All
whatever.
right.
Hopefully I will join y'all. But for myself, like I said, I need your prayers, traveling grace. I will be traveling with the Nunez baseball team as we go up to Oxford, Alabama for their first NJCAA regional.
Yeah. Slow
And it's
down.
the New South Regional with Nunez and Delgado in it against six Alabama teams, 8-team double
I would.
elimination. And Nunez will play Shelton State on Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. on the Sports Broadcasting Network. I will put the link out tomorrow and everything so you can catch it. But keep us in prayer and hopefully that Nunez and Delgado does very, very well in this tournament and maybe meet in the final. We will see what happens.
Well,
We'll see how tough these Alabama teams are because Nunez is 8 seed, Shelton State's the 1, and they are the defending South Regional champs.
yep. They got the Grand Junction last year, but yeah, I was gonna say. Uh, Obviously, our prayers go out to all the teams that are gonna. Well, the Louisiana teams that are gonna go, Delgado and Nunez. That you guys travel safely, get there, and poetic justice would be Nunez and Delgado to make the final. It can happen. They're on opposite sides of the bracket, but and also prayers we can that you have good calls throughout the tournament for however long Nunez is in it. We know you're going to do a fantastic job. You do that every time. But Jared, another great show. And look, if it's just me and you tomorrow night, it's gonna be good stuff. We got Ashley Langford and Jeremy Kennedy. Ashley Langford could be trailing Powell Part Two. Look at her record at Stony Brook, how she just killed it up there, and now she brings that here to Willow Street and to Lane's Women. With the Lisa Stockton era ending, she had great successes, 24 postseason berths. Ashley's going to take time to get it, but I feel like they got a great hire in her. She's going to do good things, really good things.
Well, I just want to know what will Coach Joe Sherman tell VK when he see VK with Nunez.
Who invited him? I'm kidding.
I just want to know what he's gonna tell him. That's all.
He already knows that I'm gonna be there, and the Delgado folks has been very graceful and everything. They're excited that we're gonna be there, and I'm gonna be there as well. That's what Joe Sherman wanted years ago with this new region, because he felt like at the time they was in a tough region. Those teams in Oklahoma, Missouri, and everything, it was top 10, top 5 in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't host a region for like 5, 6 years. But now they got a greater chance with Alabama, and the biggest thing they took it home was, we can take 2 teams out the league instead of 1.
Oh,
So that being said, I think everybody's excited. I talked with Coach Sherman. He was like, after that game, and I did the interview. He was like, "We're looking forward to see you next week." I said, "Yes, sir."
so
So
so I guess you're wearing that Nunez shirt and hat this entire weekend, huh?
you
Better be
know
that
it.
TSBN.
You know it.
Woo! I hope the
You know it.
Delgado fans, get them. Nah,
Oh,
I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Look, everybody, we back here tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. again with our 2 guests. We want y'all back here. Tell a friend, tell a family members, tell everybody that you know to tune into the Hash It Out show. Look, guys, we are getting closer to high school football again. It's gonna be here. We got some months, but it's gonna be here. We got some spring games happening next week, and just stay tuned. You know, we about to dig in, but we want everybody here because we dig in every sport here in this state. So just tell your friends, tell your family, tune into the Hash It Out Show for VK Jones, for George Peppers. I am JB the Sports Guy. We'll see you here tomorrow night, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Higgins, head boys basketball coach at Bonneville High, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show. Go Bruins!
Trishawn Ware. I'm a DB for Brother Martin Crusaders, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.
Thank you for watching the